Assalamu alaikum Islam channel viewers, welcome back to Ramadan on the road. Today we have an action-packed episode packed for you. Today we're here Grays at Talim Masjid, attending the second Jummah khutbah of Ramadan. Inshallah we're going to have Sheikh Junaid who's going to give some words of wisdom. Inshallah we'll have some beautiful recitation as well from Qari Ayman. It's a bit chilly here in Grays. I've got the River Thames behind me. Before we go into the Jummah khutbah, I thought, you know what, let me take a little quick swim. So let me just do that. Thank you for going on this walk with me.
No problem.
I wanted to reflect on this Ramadan and the significance of it. Obviously, we have stuff going on in Palestine. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. What should we be doing this Ramadan?
This Ramadan is unique. Number one, we're grateful that we actually entered into the blessed month of Ramadan. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. So it's an opportunity that we're here. Secondly, with the thing that you mentioned about Gaza and Palestine, it's unique in the sense that the whole Ummah is united. And it's amazing that in our prayers, in our du'as, in everything that we are standing shoulder to shoulder, feet to feet, and everybody is praying for Masjid al-Aqsa, they're praying for Palestine, they're praying for the victims of this genocide that is taking place. The hearts are really united, and we can see that something unique has happened this month. And that is the fact that we've got so many young people now coming to the masajid, and young people connecting with Palestine, connecting with Islam, and connecting with Masjid al-Aqsa. It's really, I would say it's a revival. And as Imams, we've been trying to do this for years, trying to unite the Ummah, and we're struggling with that. But what these guys have done, the oppression and the dhulm is on one side, but one thing that they have done for us is they've united the Ummah, and we're all standing strong. And I don't think we've stood this strong in a very long time, and I see nothing but prosperity and khair coming forward in the upcoming months and years.
So I want to talk about the Ummah in general. So I've heard some sheikhs say that we, the Ummah, are to blame for what's happening in Palestine. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has His own mysterious ways of doing things. And we can't blame no one for anything. Rather, we see it as a test. تِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. That the days they rotate, some days are for you and some days are against you. But what we can say clearly is that what's happening in Palestine today is a wake-up call. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the Ummah gets lazy, when the Ummah gets too comfortable, when you're eating too much, sleeping too much, you're not caring about each other, then what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does, He shakes the ground that you're walking on. Just for you to realize, as a Muslim, you've got a bigger duty, a bigger responsibility on this planet, and that is to serve Allah and also to implement His deen on this planet and to show the world that we have a superior way of living. So sometimes it's unfortunate, but we have to be woken up in that way. I'll give you an example. If you've got a child and you know that your child has really high potential, can earn or can work and can achieve great things, but they're not doing their work, they're lazy, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, what will you do as a parent? You'll discipline them, right? You'll give them a little hardship or test so that they wake up and realize, oh, I could do so much more. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes when we get in that mode, Allah does that to us and He wakes us up.
And what can we do this Ramadan to help our brothers in Palestine? What do you think we can do in terms of our praying, our du'as, anything in particular?
So what I would say is, number one, the first thing I would recommend, and this is the beautiful thing about Ramadan, Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that we attain taqwa. The first thing is that we have to reconnect with our Lord. And I say that why? And I say frankly, that we have to as Muslims recognize our identity. We can travel the world, we can have different color passports, we can live in different lands. None of that matters. That's the reality. We've seen it today. We've seen the hypocrisy, we've seen the double standards, we've seen how brown Muslim skinned people don't have any value. We've seen all of it. So the reality of the matter is that we have to reconnect with Allah. And we have to reconnect understanding our identity. And our identity is as following. Our Lord is Allah. Our leader is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our constitution, our way of life is the Quran. If we start there, you'll see Allah will bring us together. And with unity comes strength, and with strength comes success.
I love it. Okay, to finish off with, a little lighter note to finish off with, what do you do in your free time in Ramadan? What kind of things do you eat? What kind of things do you do?
I don't know how to answer that question. I try to actually live a healthy lifestyle. So my iftar is probably not a traditional kind of iftar. I tend to stick to things like fish. I love salmon, grilled chicken, I do love my steaks, so I actually enjoy cooking myself. So I make steaks, vegetables. So I usually stick to a more healthy kind of diet. And if I'm guilty of any kind of unhealthy food, I don't know if you know, but you know of Ruh Hafsa.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'll have a glass of that before as I open my fast. So apart from that, yeah, it's mostly healthy. And medjool dates, the Palestinian ones, not the stolen ones, the Palestinian medjool dates.
Okay, and to finish off with, you're very strong. You look like you're very healthy. What advice can you give other brothers who are trying to maintain that sense of healthiness?
You know, the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah loves the strong believer more than the weak believer. But in both of them, there is khair. And I see that one understanding of that is that as Muslim men and women, we've got to be physically fit. We've got to be strong. Because if you're as a leader or as a motivator, you've got to lead the way. So I do train, I engage myself in martial arts. I also do weightlifting, and I do try to jog 3-4 times a week as well. So I do try to keep myself fit, and yeah, it's a difficult one, but I do try.
And do you keep that routine in Ramadan as well? Do you tweak it a little bit?
You know, I have tried my best, but unfortunately I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because by the time you get from Tarawih, you're exhausted. But I do try. I do try to keep healthy, and I do try to walk and try to lift weight and live a more healthy lifestyle. Inshallah, it's a work in progress this Ramadan.